actually fat. I wear a lot. That's why you cannot see I cover up.
Come on, really fat. It's what we call private limited.
Yeah.
Limited.
Only limited to somewhere. Right, so this is what we eat after class. Then we tell you eat healthy 骗你的 actually.
No. I'm very honest one. So I tell people, you eat, you get fat, then you work harder in the class.
Yes.
You got result, you continue to eat again, then you work hard again.
She say one, I know I say
Very
one.
honest.
Okay, shut up, enough.
Oh, it is what?
Alright, hi everyone, this is Natalie. Welcome to another episode of Get Real with Natalie, and today we're having another instructor with us under the Inspiring series. So you don't eat first, you got to self-introduce before you can take another bite.
I thought I'll just stuff myself and you continue
No, you
talking.
wait. Okay, your turn.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia. So I'm not sure why she find me, I'm not sure how inspiring, but just be an ordinary person. But there are things that you can do very differently.
Yes, that's right. Okay, tell us, how come, what makes you get into this fitness industry?
I think a lot of things that I get in is really by chance. So
See, sometimes when people say that, you just want to beat them, right? What is like by chance?
it is by
你看
chance.
讲这种东西就等人家被揍的有没有？那种真的是会很想揍他的那种。
It is by chance because actually I didn't intend to go in. So it's just that happened that I joined a friend for workout, and then after that I decide, hey, maybe it's time for me to get back to exercise. Because I used to be very active in school. So as usual, the usual story as any woman, you are busy with work, you are busy with your kids, and then you got no time. So I thought, hey, it's a good time to get back. So yeah, so it is by accident. It's
Okay,
not I
husband,
planned.
you heard that or not? See how much your wife suffer to have children and build a family. So must be nice to your wife. Alright, I understand that you are the first woman from Singapore to reach the South Pole.
That's right.
Can you tell me what inspired or motivate you to actually take this trip, and how is there a selection process? How come you are the first woman or the only woman being selected, huh?
Can I say it's by accident again?
See lah, this time.
Okay, maybe I won't say it's by accident. I'll say it's coincident. So I was actually taking a break from work. As in, I quit my job, that I want to take a break from work, want to give a bit more time for my son. So at the time, I happened to come across they actually advertised to say, hey, Singapore woman, the chance to be a first Singapore woman to go to South Pole.
Oh, they actually advertise on newspaper looking for candidates.
That's right.
Wow.
So I say, hey, why not give it a try? There's no harm, there's nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. If I don't get it, it's still back to square one.
And so happened like you are the only woman in Singapore to actually saw that.
Actually not. There were, I think in Singapore, there were about 70 to 80 of us.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I applied for it, just for fun, seriously, But one of the main things that actually pushed me to try harder is that I shared with my daughter. At that time, she was 10 years old. As any young kid, I said, hey, mommy's going to try for that. So guess what's the reaction? If your mom tell you, hey, I'm going to do something crazy.
I sure cannot on.
Exactly the same reaction. So she say, yeah, if you get to South Pole, miracle will happen. I say, well, I'm going to try. And yeah, so the rest, history.
Okay, so one thing for daughters and children, please do not kick us. Things will happen.
But mom, there's also another thing. If you do something like this, next time when your kid, especially your daughter, says she wants to do something crazy, you can't say no.
See? The flip side. So, is there a selection after you send in your application? Are you shortlisted? Did you get a call back or something?
Yeah.
Sounds like an audition.
Yeah. So they actually, or the expedition leader, she actually called about 10 of us, first round shortlist, and she came down to have a face-to-face interview with us.
How do you get into shortlist with only 10? Okay, what are the criteria they're looking at? Is that physical?
No.
Academics or whatsoever?
No.
So they just look at your face, they like, then they call you up.
No, actually none of that. Okay. There's no academic, there's no physical. although it's a very extreme, I mean for Singaporean, out to the core, but the whole purpose is actually the message behind. So it's actually a women's team that is made up of 8 women from 8 different Commonwealth countries. So one of the key questions that they ask in the application is that, what do you think you are representative of Singapore women? I mean, being in Singapore, or your own country's women.
Right.
So you basically write in. So there's no question about how fit you are, how heavy, what's your experience in doing extreme sports. No. So it's just really the purpose behind it.
Sounds like a Miss Universe question. Must write thesis or not?
No, I hate writing.
Okay. So what was your answer? Can you vouch?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one thing that I thought about, how do I put something in? Singapore being a developed country, I mean, we are not short of anything. But one of the things I think, especially for me being a woman, playing all the different roles, being a daughter, being a mother, being a working woman, being a jack of all trades, having to look after the family, everything. There's one thing that a lot of women, I think, is that we end up forgetting about ourselves.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
How true is that,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So very often we are so busy with getting our kids ready, prepping them for their exam, whatever it is, making sure everyone gets fed, but we always forget
That's
ourselves.
true. That's
But actually that's the most important. Because if you don't look after yourself, take for example, especially when the kids are young, they don't care whether you are tired, they don't care whether you are sick, they still
True.
come to you.
Yep.
So why not get yourself healthy? And also quite a lot of us, especially with other commitment, we always say that, or over time, after a while we say, I wish I have done that, if not for all this commitment.
True.
But hey, if you get everything around you prepared, you should go for it.
True.
Yeah.
And how did you get? To after? So they audition you face to
Yep.
face. How did you actually get selected? How do you feel when you receive news that you got selected in?
Yeah. So in fact, there was actually another round. So after the face-to-face 10, then they actually shortlist 2 of us to go Norway for final selection.
You still have to fly yourself to Norway?
Yeah.
On expense.
Own expense.
Wow.
Because partly, yes, we still have to be able to ski. Of course, a lot from women from other countries, they have not skied before.
Right.
So that is also partly to make sure they can at least balance on the ski. I mean,
Right.
it's part training as well, and also to get used to the cold. Yeah. I mean, those at the end is still some of the basic criteria. So 2 of us got shortlisted to Norway. And then finally, after first 1 week, we actually have teamwork. We pair up with different country women, see how well we gel together. And I think being a mother or a motherly figure, yes, I was the only mother in that team. So it helps because we already have an expedition leader.
Right.
So the other lady that was actually shortlisted, she's probably more of a leader quality rather than a team member. So in a teamwork, you can't have too many heads
Of course.
because there bounds to be contradiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's probably the reason why I guess.
Okay. So how long is the training?
In fact, after that, we stay on for another week. Those final 8 that were shortlisted, we have another week of training in the Corps. After that, it's really back to our own country and you do your own training.
So how long does it take for this preparation? 6 months, 1 year?
No, in fact, for us, it's actually limited by the window of period of time. So when we got selected, it's probably about February. And then we need to get funding as well. Besides training, we need to get funding for the actual expedition. And we were quite lucky that we got funding and we actually got to go in the actual year itself. So we have, in a nutshell, about 5 months of training only.
That sounds
Yeah.
very rushed.
But I mean, for me, luckily because of the background, even before I actually applied for this, I've been a freelance instructor for like more than 10 years.
Right.
So that helped me to give a foundation.
So this is after you decide to rejoin back into the fitness world, or this is before you decide to rejoin back to the fitness
That
world?
was after.
That was after.
That was after.
Okay, so prior to that, already 10 years of teaching, and then after that, you stopped, and then now you come back again.
Yeah. And I was also quite lucky. I actually got my training sponsor as
Wow.
well. So, okay, contrary to people that attend fitness class, I actually enjoy the training. But I'll tell you the secret how to train hard. When your personal trainer push you, in your mind you can scold him. But just keep it to yourself.
I'm sure all my students who are watching, that's what they're saying
Right.
as well, right? Yeah, I know every time when I do something, I can see the glare,
Yeah.
that hatred from their eyes that they want to kill me. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
wait.
But hey, that's the most effective, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's just like when we look at you or Danny, we're like, oh yeah, never mind, it's okay. Punch your head. Punch Danny's head. Oh, Danny cannot
And you
cannot
know,
see this.
that's where in your mind you have a focus. And
True.
it push you to work harder.
True.
And then after that, well, I mean, you enjoy the benefit from there.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Just like,
kind
you know,
of like
we-
a twisted thing.
It's
lah,
like when
right?
you look
Yeah.
at the cake, it's like
That's what
I
she
work-
said. I know
I
I
work
said.
so hard, but you know that's the
Then she
motivation.
put back on all the calories.
That's the motivation.
Okay, is there any like fun incident that happened? This is a long trip, about 38 days, right?
Yeah, the
So
actual from the start point to where we reach our goal is 38 days. But we were there in Antarctica probably almost about 1.5 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any like funny stories or stories that move you to tears or any drama? And is that cat fight? No, very boring. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you know, we always have we get questions. We got a satellite phone, and that was one of the questions. 8 women in the tent or in 2 tents. Is there any cat
So
fight?
this is actually a women's team.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I just know
Yeah,
that she's the
it's-
first woman.
Yeah, it's all 8 women. Yeah. No, there isn't any cat fight.
Walao,
Sorry about that.
Boring.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. No need to interview already.
But I mean, one of the thing I think is one of the biggest thing that I gained from it is really teamwork. You know, I mean, of the 38 days, there's a lot of lessons to be learned. One of the big thing is really about teamwork, because actually before I embarked on that, 2 years before that, actually I had knee surgery.
This is also I want to ask.
Yeah, so I actually have one of my my left leg actually had my ACL reconstruction surgery, and in fact during my training, which is sponsored, the sports doctor actually evaluate me, and he told me my right knee is actually partially torn as well.
Okay. How come
Yeah.
you have that thought?
It's all chronic for me because I used to be very active in sports. So yeah, so during almost close to, I think maybe about 7 days to reaching our goal, we know that we can make it. But you know, at that point in time, at that close to that time, my knees feel very weak. I almost want to give way, and that's the point where I felt very depressed, very sad, because you know you have the whole country, and in fact, the president actually. At that time, President Nathan of Singapore actually said that they'll host me a welcome back if we make it successfully. So you have the pressure of having all these people looking forward to that. But one sentence or one message that our team leader, Felicity, she shared. She said that even if she have to put me on the sledge and pull me to the end point, they will still do it because it's a team. So I think that's the part that you come to realize that no matter how hard it is or what kind of hardship you go through, so long as you have a very supportive team, that will actually make it work. And in fact, that was actually also one of the reasons why initially I actually doubted myself. Should I accept the offer to go? But I come to realize that it's also a team that will make it work. It's not just a person's
That's true.
effort. Yeah. So
I'm very emotional. I feel like crying. Okay, so how long did you actually rehabilitate yourself back? Did you go for physio or you actually do exercise on your own? Since you already have like fitness knowledge beforehand, right? And you're teaching. So naturally, I think you have the knowledge to know how to heal yourself or rehabilitate yourself back. So after the surgery, how long does it take?
From the surgery, after that is really progressive. So it's about 6 months to get back to the basic, being able to move properly. And then after that, it's really building the strength.
Right.
Yeah. So one of the good thing that it become very fitness now is that we actually go through what we call evaluation of our fitness level first. So cardio fitness as well as muscular fitness. So for me, good thing is that my cardio fitness was very good. We did the VO2 max test. So I was pretty much very good on that. But then we moved to building the muscular strength to a certain level, and then it's functional.
Right.
Because you are doing non-stop, what we do is that 10 hours a day. You're just going through the same movement. Yeah.
Right.
So continuously, we actually, the initial estimation is about 45 days, so it's about 1.5 months. So training into functional, that actually get our body accustomed to it.
So that means during that 2 years, you said 2 years before the expedition, you actually had a surgery. And during these 2 years, you actually rehabilitate yourself.
Yeah.
And then after which, when you're being selected, you actually furthermore train yourself back.
Focus really
Focus
on the
on-
function itself,
Right.
specific to the actual event.
Wow, that is such a long journey. I think it must be very mentally stressful, physically exhausting. Especially, it's a long process. It's not just like a day or two or even a week or two. It's like, I think from the time you had surgery until then, it's almost like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
About there, right?
It's about 2 years.
Wow. It's such hard work and dedication.
Well, I don't know, sometimes it's that if you think of it as a hard work, yes, you probably feel it as a hard work. But if you think of it, if you have an end objective, I mean, before the expedition, it's really getting back to my own fitness level.
Right.
So that's the first objective. Then the next is, because there's an expedition, there's a push for it, there's a motivation behind it. So that's where it actually helps. And I think that motivation from other people, or you do it for to show it to other people, is even greater, because you can't tell yourself, okay, it's too hard, I give up. It's not just for yourself. So for me, it's really to show to my daughter, not just telling her, but to actually showing her
Set an
to do
example.
it. Yes, example.
Right. So I guess you see how powerful a mind is that once you give it your all, once you have a focus, you will actually try your best to reach. And I think the beautiful thing is that what I hear is that all this is just to not only to prove to yourself, to do something for yourself, but also to show her daughter that this can be done. And she actually used herself as an example to set it for your daughter. So you see, it's mother love is so wonderful and fantastic. This is like something that nothing can beat. So how do you tell us that we know that you're very busy. How many children you have?
3.
3 children.
Yeah.
So do you I understand that you're in a management role in your full-time job. You teach.
Yeah.
She's a wife. She's a mother. Sometimes she's driver. Sometimes she's maid.
I'm also the maid.
See? Sometimes she's an instructor to ask. So how do you actually juggle your time? And give time to all these roles. It's like you see women wear so many hats.
Well, I mean, one of the things I learned, and I think especially after I become a mother, is really learn not to be perfect. If you want to try to do every of all this single role to be perfect, is basically impossible. But so long as you give your best in everything that you do. And I think one thing is to be able to accept yourself, to say, hey, sometimes I just can't do that. And it's okay. Don't have to say everything I have to do. But of course, one of the things is also basic responsibility.
Right.
I mean, I decide to have kids, to continue to work, to have this, just really at the moment in time, whatever you are doing, just put your best. And then once it's over, focus on the next task on hand. And that's it. Take one step at a time.
Right. And of
Yeah.
course, I think time management is also very important.
And of course, I mean, one thing, yes, you do have to sacrifice is the sleep.
Right. Okay. All the iBags. Any sponsor? Okay. So before we close, is there any advice for instructors that are thinking of coming into our industry? Because people, as I always tell my other fellow instructors, that we are not celebrities, but we are public figures because people know us, right? And usually people know, hey, that's my Zumba instructor. Hey, that's my final instructor, stuff like that. So, and people see it as a very glamorous job because we are being recognized, public figure.
Good thing you can't smell me.
It is
she's holding her breath.
So if people always think that it's such an easy job because we only work especially for I don't have that many hats, I only got one hat. Our full-time fitness instructor. So for us, they always think that you just have to do it for 1 hour and you get paid and you turn your passion into money making. So is it that easy? What advice you have for people who are coming into this industry thinking that it's a very glamorous job?
I mean, one, of course, when you come in first is really to have an open mind, and just be open to learn new things. Whether when you first step in, do you intend to go to full-time or even part-time like me, freelance? It is fine, but really think about learning and applying what you learn, not just in fitness, but throughout the other areas of your life as well. So with that, you won't actually pigeonhole yourself. And sometimes when people pigeonhole, they become very stressed about it.
Right.
Really keep an open mind. And again, don't also, especially in fitness life, one thing, don't over push yourself. Once you're injured, there's always a risk.
Right.
Learn how to take care of yourself, and that in turn you'll set a good example to your members. If I can do it, if I can balance everything and still do it, so can you. So again, it's all about setting example as well. Because yes, one of the, I wouldn't say downside, one of the things being instructor, like you say, people look up to us as role model.
That's true.
We have to maintain ourselves. Yeah. So
Maintain
that's one thing.
ourselves.
Can we cut that?
Okay, so one last universe question. What is the advice that you can give it to a modern woman who's trying to do it all, accomplish it all? What advice do you have for them?
I think one of the things is really don't be afraid to say no. And also don't be afraid to ask for help.
And I guess to love yourself is also very important. And I would like to thank the founder, Mr. Yaya from Make Your Mark, and also to thank the entire production team of Make Your Mark to make this happen. They are the one who sponsored this YouTube series, the Inspire series. And of course, I will link their YouTube link in my description box down below, and hope that you can actually support them by heading over to their channel and see what other things they are actually doing. Alright, thank you everyone. I'll see you in my next episode. And remember to comment who is the next instructor that you want to see, and also give us a thumbs up. I'll see you the next time. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you the next time. Bye. Okay, and with that we can eat already. Bye.
So I can't say too much because if not, I would lose my chance to earn money or motivational talk. But anyway,
I think Make Your Mark next time. Invite her, right, to speak.
yeah.
But the boss is okay behind the camera. What is this? Oh, subscribe to my channel. It's like, come, let's share the burger.
Maybe you can zoom or make the cake look a bit smaller.
Bye everyone, I'll see you in the next series.